Welcome, welcome. This is February 10th, and we are here for Coffee Calibrations. You're here with me, Kristina Swanson, and I am so pleased to be here to serve you today. So we are going to start by just having you put in the chat where you're coming in from and what you have accomplished over the last week. Did you get your calibration done? And how did that serve you? Awesome. Okay, so let's go ahead and start this action-packed day of boundaries. We're going to talk about boundaries today in our month on relationships. Last week we talked about overgiving. And if you missed that, I encourage you to go back to my YouTube channel, Kristina Swanson Training, and watch it because the information I gave on overgiving was also very impactful, and I think you'll find it to be very helpful. Okay. I record these every week when we do them so that you can go back and watch the reruns. If you can't come live, be sure you go ahead and watch the replay and do the calibration anyway, because it will serve you regardless. And we do these every Monday morning, 9 a.m. Mountain Time. And I invite anyone from anywhere in the world, whether it's morning, noon, or night. And since it's a coffee calibration, you might as well bring your favorite beverage. Now, if it's evening time for where you are, feel free to bring whatever you want. But I invite you to come fully committed, bring a pen and paper, and be prepared to do some recalibration of your energy and your actions for the coming week. Awesome. Okay, so before we get started, we're going to do what we always do at the beginning of our calls, and that is to generate state. This is important because it helps you to clear any of the negative energies that might be sitting with you this Monday morning. It also helps bring you into the present moment so that the work we do can be impactful and help you to move forward into your week. So I invite you to close your eyes with me, and we're going to do the brave thinking breath, and that is in through your nose and out through your mouth like you're blowing through a straw. In through your nose and out through your mouth like you're breathing through a straw. And I invite you to keep your eyes closed and continue to breathe this way. And as you're doing that, I want you to apply a template of gratitude. And what that means is I want you to start thinking about things for which you are grateful. Okay? All the many things that you are grateful for. And as you do that, see if you can let one really land for you. Something that has been most impactful for you recently, perhaps. And then to that, I want you to also start to come up with something that you're proud of. Now, the proud of is important because the proud of signifies the actions that you have taken, right? It's easy to be grateful, but to be proud of, that means that you've actually had to take action, hopefully action towards your dream. Did you take action on the calibration step you set up last week? Perhaps you did. If you did, that might be you're proud of. Okay. Now go ahead and take a couple more deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth like you're breathing through a straw. And then feel free to open your eyes when you're ready. Breathing then this way helps us to bring ourselves from our sympathetic to our parasympathetic nervous system and really brings us into the present, right? It also allows us to, as we add the template of gratitude, become gratitude. And so that's something that we're going to want to do in any time that we're feeling stressed or having a difficult time, right? If you're in a conversation with somebody and they are triggering you, take a few brave thinking breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth like you're blowing through a straw until you start to feel a little calmer. And then you'll be able to respond much more easily and clearly and appropriately than you would if you simply reacted immediately once that trigger happened. Okay. Sometimes this can help you to avoid some sticky situations. And so it's a super, super important tool to use throughout your day. Great. All right, let's just move into our material for today because super excited about this. This is something everyone seems to have some issues around, and I would just love to address it right now. That is setting boundaries without guilt. Okay. And we are going to talk about some very specific boundaries that people have trouble addressing and how to get around them. But first, I want to acknowledge that a good deal of this material comes from my master mentor, Dr. Claire Zammit. Claire has her PhD in coaching psychology from the University of California at Berkeley, and she is just a fantastic coach and coach of coaches. And so I appreciate the material that she presents for us to be able to present to you because it's just so impactful. It's backed with research. She's done tons of not only studying research, but she's actually done scientific research that really proves most of the things that she talks about. So I can't think of anyone better to draw upon when I'm looking at specific information on how we can deal with our behaviors, right? Okay, so I want you to start to think about setting boundaries as not just a skill, but as a powerful act of self-empowerment and collective liberation. Setting boundaries is one of the most profound acts of self-love and empowerment that we can practice. It's not about putting up walls or pushing people away. It's about honoring your capacity, your values, and your needs so that you can show up as your fullest self in your relationships. Boundaries allow us to give from a place of overflow rather than a place of depletion, creating deeper, more meaningful connections with the people that we care about. How does that sound for you? For many of us, the thought of setting boundaries brings up fears. Will they think I'm selfish? Will they feel rejected? Will I lose the relationship? These fears are rooted in cultural conditioning that has long equated a person's worth with their ability to give endlessly. And this is where last week's program on overgiving becomes fairly impactful. But here's the truth. Boundaries don't damage relationships. They make them stronger by fostering mutual respect and trust. Now, we are going to be talking a little bit about what are boundaries, and then I'm going to talk specifically about some boundaries that are prevalent for a lot of people, and I'll give you some scripts that will give you some practical guidance and some emotional intelligence around how to set boundaries with clarity, compassion, and confidence. So what are boundaries? Boundaries are the invisible lines we draw to protect our time, energy, and well-being while honoring our values and our friendships. They are acts of clarity, intention, and self-respect that invite others to engage with us in ways that are mutually beneficial and sustainable. But boundaries are not just saying no. They are creating the space to say a wholehearted yes to what truly matters, to ourselves, to deeper connections, and to a life aligned with our highest purpose. Why are boundaries so difficult? Many of us blame ourselves for struggling with boundaries, believing it reflects a lack of strength or confidence. But in truth, the real issue often lies in deeper cultural, societal, and interpersonal patterns. Here are some of the common challenges. Cultural conditioning. People are taught, especially women, to equate selflessness with goodness, making prioritizing their own needs feel selfish or wrong. Fear of rejection. Many fear upsetting others, being excluded, or facing backlash when setting boundaries. Confusion around priorities. The desire to help, coupled with conflicting demands, can blur the lines of what is truly important. Intergenerational patterns. Family dynamics often reinforce overgiving, leaving people feeling stuck in cycles of exhaustion. Internalizing scarcity. The belief that there's not enough time, energy, or resources fuels overextension and self-neglect. Any of these resonate with you? Okay, type it into the chat. Okay. The women-centered coaching method teaches that setting boundaries is not just about protecting yourself, but about modeling a new way of being that uplifts others. When you honor your needs, you create a ripple effect, empowering others to do the same. Boundaries are bridges to deeper trust, respect, and authentic connection. How do boundaries strengthen relationships? Contrary to popular belief, boundaries don't push people away. They bring people closer by fostering clarity and mutual respect. When approached with compassion and confidence, boundaries can build trust because others feel safer knowing where you stand. Encouraging respect because clear boundaries teach people how to honor your needs. And deeper connection because boundaries free you from resentment and enable you to show up authentically. We're going to go through, as I said, some very specific boundaries, and then I'll give you some scripts and some content that'll help you to set boundaries with clarity, compassion, and confidence. Now, these are not rigid formulas, but they're flexible tools that you can adapt to your own unique relationships and situations. Okay. And we are going to start by having the boundary of I feel guilty when I say no, right? When someone asks for too much of my time, I feel guilty saying no. Okay. Now, giving generously to others is a cornerstone of thriving relationships. Contributing your love, presence, gifts, and expertise meaningfully, even sacrificing for others sometimes, is part of what makes life rich and deeply fulfilling. But the real challenge is not your generosity itself, but the inner conflict that arises when others' needs clash with your own priorities, values, or well-being. Okay. When you say yes out of pressure, fear of disappointing someone, a worry about being judged as selfish, or even because you're scared that the other person might withdraw their affection, you're not saying yes from a place of alignment or inspiration. Instead, you're giving from a space of depletion and overextension. This kind of yes borrows against your well-being and erodes your capacity to honor your own deeper priorities. And over time, it leads to resentment, burnout, mistrust, and a sense of disconnection, not just from yourself, but also from the relationships you care most about. So let's make a shift today that empowers your yes and transforms your relationships. Here's the mindset shift. Your time is your most valuable resource, a reflection of your worth and the life that you want to create, right? When you are deeply connected to your own needs, values, and priorities, you create a foundation for meaningful and empowered choices. From this foundation, you can assess requests from others with clarity and compassion and offer a yes that uplifts you and your relationships or a no that builds deeper trust. Now, by honoring your boundaries, you teach others to value your time, creating a ripple effect of respect and authenticity. In those situations where you feel an inner conflict between others' requests of your time and your own priorities, slow down and connect with yourself rather than just saying automatically yes. Okay? When someone makes a request of you that you can feel you aren't in a position to say yes to, here's a script to respond in a way that honors yourself as well as their request. Make eye contact, extend empathy, and affirm that you value the connection. I love that you asked for help with this. I would enjoy contributing to you in this way, or I care about your success with this. Then you need to let them know that you don't have the energy, time, resources, or ability to give them what they're asking for. Right now, my schedule is full and I need to honor my existing commitments. Thank them for understanding and honoring your no, knowing that it's not a rejection of them or the relationship. Okay? I appreciate your understanding. I would love to revisit this in the future. Now, as a bonus, you can offer thought partnership or resources for how they can get help from a source other than you. One person you might like to ask for help is, have you considered XYZ as a resource? And remember, you need to feel powerful and strong in yourself as you're doing this, right? Here are some power statements that might be helpful. It is safe to prioritize my time. I honor my time as a reflection of my worth, and protecting my time allows me to fully show up authentically. Okay, so if you want to take an inspired action step into this, commit today to set a micro boundary to honor your priorities. Think of one small but meaningful boundary you can set today to honor your priorities. For example, I'll say no to any last minute requests from others, or I won't check emails after dinner. Okay? How does that feel for you? Right? How does that feel? If you do affirmations, I suggest you build an affirmation around this. Today, I affirm that my time is valuable and that I have the right to protect it because whatever your reason is, right? Having an affirmation that helps you uphold boundaries will help solidify your commitment to valuing yourself and your time. Awesome. The second boundary we're going to talk about is I don't want to let anyone down. When you're asked to take extra responsibility, learn how to set a boundary when you're not ready to do so. Okay. The belief that your worth is tied to how much you do is one of the most pervasive and exhausting myths that we face. It's reinforced by cultural norms, family dynamics, and internalized perfectionism, leaving many of us feeling like we have to say yes to every request, even when we're already stretched too thin. Overcommitting isn't just about time, it's about energy, focus, and well-being. So it's important to pay attention. When you say yes out of fear of disappointing others, losing their approval, or being judged as unkind, you're not giving from a place of abundance or alignment. Instead, you're perpetuating a cycle of overextension that can leave you feeling resentful, exhausted, and disconnected from what matters most. And here's the deeper cost. When you take on more than you can handle, you diminish the quality of your contributions, and you risk damaging trust in your relationships, both with others and yourself. Okay? When you can't deliver on what you've agreed to, it erodes the foundation of trust that you've worked so hard to build. So let's shift this pattern by redefining what it means to show up fully and meaningfully in your life. Okay? Here's the mindset shift. Your value is not determined by how much you do, but by how aligned your contributions are with your values and your strengths. Okay. Saying no when you need to protects your ability to say a powerful and wholehearted yes to the opportunities and relationships that truly matter. By honoring your capacity, you not only preserve your energy and well-being, but also model healthy boundaries for others and deepen trust in the process. This creates a ripple effect of empowerment and mutual respect in your relationships. Now, when you feel torn between a desire to help and your own limits, pause, do your brave thinking breath, and then ask yourself, does this align with my current priorities and capacity? If not, here's how to respond with grace and clarity. Here's your script for how to set a boundary without guilt. Again, make eye contact, extend empathy, and affirm that you value the connection or opportunity. Thank you so much for thinking of me for this. I'm honored that you trust me with this request. Acknowledge your current limits with honesty and respect. After reflecting on my current commitments, I realize I don't have the capacity to give this the attention that it deserves. Affirm your care for the person or project and offer an alternative way for support. I really care about your success or the success of this project, And while I can't take this on, I'd love to brainstorm other ways I might be able to help you. One idea might be, and give a specific suggestion. Okay. And then thank them for their understanding. I appreciate your understanding and respect for my current capacity. Remember, you have the power to do this, and doing so will improve your relationships. Remember these power statements when you start to doubt. Okay. It is safe to honor my limits. Saying no creates space for whatever truly inspires me, and my boundaries are a reflection of my strength and clarity. The inspired action step around this is to commit to practicing a graceful no. Today, identify one situation where you feel stretched beyond your capacity. Practice using this script to set a boundary that honors your well-being and your priorities. Reflect on how it feels to offer a no with empathy and authenticity. Okay. How about a third one? I don't want to upset or reject anyone. Is this a boundary that you deal with when you need to decline a social invitation? I don't want to upset or reject anyone. Saying no to a social invitation can feel loaded with guilt and fear of being judged as uncaring or ungrateful. Many of us carry an ingrained belief that turning down an invitation is a form of rejection. Yet agreeing to social commitments when you're depleted, overwhelmed, or uninspired drains your energy and diminishes the authenticity of your relationships. Declining an invitation isn't about rejecting people, it's about honoring your own needs so that you can engage from a place of alignment and joy. By choosing to prioritize your well-being, you model a powerful example of self-respect that invites others to respect you as well. Here's the mindset shift. Your presence matters most when it's wholehearted. Saying no is not a rejection of others, it's an affirmation of your own needs. When you honor your limits, you create the emotional and physical space to show up authentically in the relationships and commitments that truly nourish you. When you feel torn between wanting to meet others' expectations and needing to prioritize yourself, pause and ask, will saying yes enhance or deplete my energy? Will saying yes align with my life's priorities? How important is showing up for this person in contrast to my other commitments? Listen to your knowing. If you get a yes, but it's a stretch, honor that. If you can't say no, know that declining is an act of integrity and care. Here's the boundaries without guilt script when you need to decline. Express gratitude for the invitation and affirm the relationship by saying something like, I love and appreciate so much that you invited me to do this. It means a lot to me that you thought to include me. Acknowledge your current need for rest or focus with honesty. Right now, I'm overextended and focusing on recharging and taking care of myself and meeting my existing commitments, so I'll need to pass this time. Reaffirm your desire to reconnect in the future. Let's plan to catch up soon. I love to hear all about whatever the specific event or topic is. Okay. Offer an alternative that honors the special situation or milestone celebration. Would it work if I took you out for a special celebration the next time I'm in town rather than traveling this time for your party? Thank them for understanding and reinforcing the value of the connection. I really appreciate your understanding. Your friendship means a lot to me. And again, I love that you wanted to include me in this. Remember your power statements to support yourself in this, and they are, it is safe to honor my need for rest. My boundaries and courage to share and honest no strengthen my relationships. And choosing rest and prioritizing my existing commitments allows me to show up fully and authentically. Awesome. So the inspired action step for this is practice declining with grace. Identify one social commitment or invitation that doesn't align with your energy or priorities, and use this script to decline with kindness and clarity. Reflect on how it feels to honor your needs and maintain your connection. Awesome. Let's take a look at boundary number 4. I'm afraid that they'll fail without me. This is a boundary that happens when you feel responsible for others' success. And this might happen, especially if you're a parent and you're worrying about your children, right? Sometimes it happens with spouses. But you're not just someone who shows up, you're someone who goes all in. You care deeply about your work, your relationships, and the success of those around you. You likely have built a career and a life based on being the dependable one, the problem solver, the person who ensures everything runs smoothly. But let's pause for a moment. Beneath this drive, there may be a fear that's quietly shaping your choices. What happens if I don't step in? Will they fail without me? The thought of someone you care about faltering, whether it's a colleague, a friend, or a family member, can be unbearable. After all, you're invested in their success. Their growth matters to you. So here's the challenge. When you carry the load for them, you're not helping them rise. You're unintentionally keeping them small. You're signaling that you don't believe they have the capability of handling it themselves. And at the same time, you're draining your own energy and resources, which erodes your ability to show up fully in the ways that matter most. Saying no isn't selfish. It's a profound act of trust in yourself and in them. Empowering others starts with stepping back, and this is the important mindset shift for this boundary. Your worth is not tied to how much you carry for others. True leadership is about creating space for others to rise, even when that means letting them struggle or fail temporarily. Their growth doesn't depend on your constant intervention. It depends on their ability to learn and adapt. Okay? Ask yourself, am I stepping in because it's truly aligned with my values and capacity, or because I'm afraid of what might happen if I don't? What if trusting them to find their own way is the very gift they need? Okay. And so in this case, it's probably very important to use the following script in order to set a boundary without feeling guilt. First, acknowledge your belief in their ability. I know how capable you are, and I trust that you can navigate this. State your boundary with clarity and encouragement. Right now, I need to focus on my own priorities, so I won't be able to help you with whatever they've requested. I believe in you, and I trust that you'll find a way to handle this, and I'm here to support you from a distance if it's needed. Reinforce their power and invite them to step into it. I'm confident that you have the resources and resilience to figure this out. I'm excited to see how you rise to the challenge. Now, if you're dealing with a small child, this script may not be as easy. So let me give you an alternative script for a young child. First, of course, you want to acknowledge your care and guidance. I love you, and I believe in your ability to grow and learn. Then you need to explain your boundary in an age-appropriate way. This is something I need you to handle because it's important for you for your growth. I'm here if you truly get stuck, but I trust you to take the lead. Encourage them to take responsibility while offering support. I know it might feel challenging, but I believe in you. Let's talk about how you want to approach this, and I'll be there to cheer you on as you work through it. Now, I want you to note, resist the temptation to overfunction and trust others to resource themselves. If it does feel right to you, you can offer thought partnership or suggest alternative ways of gaining support. If you'd like, I can help you brainstorm some ideas or point you towards some resources that might support you. I know someone who might have the expertise or capacity to assist you with this. Would it help if I connected you? Have you considered reaching out to a specific person or idea? It could be a great way to move forward while also building your own support system. And always remember to support yourself again with power statements. I trust others to rise to their challenges. By setting boundaries, I empower both myself and those around me. Saying no with love creates space for growth and trust. An inspired action step for this boundary would be to think of a situation where you felt responsible for someone else's success and use today's script to communicate a boundary with clarity and trust. Then reflect on how it feels to release the weight of responsibility and allow them the space to grow. Okay. Boundary number 5. They depend on me too much. How to set boundaries without letting anyone down. When someone with less agency leans on you, whether it's a child, a client, or a team member, it's natural to step in. After all, you are the powerful party with more resources and you care deeply about their success, their growth, and their well-being. But here's the catch. When you step in and generate the solutions for them, the more they stay dependent and the more you feel drained. Every time you fix a problem, smooth over a challenge, or take the lead for them, you may be sending a message you don't intend. You can't do this without me. I'll always be the one to carry the weight. You'll never have to stretch or grow outside your comfort zone. Now, while you might be solving the issue in the moment, the long-term cost is very high. They miss the chance to go through the natural developmental process where they grow their resilience, confidence, and interdependence. You end up stretched thin with less energy for what matters most. But what if setting boundaries wasn't about stepping away? It was about lifting them up. Okay. True leadership is about showing up differently. By setting boundaries with clarity and care, you create space for others to rise while preserving your energy to lead with focus and attention. So here's the mindset shift. Boundaries are not walls, they're bridges for growth. When you set boundaries for those who depend on you, you're not abandoning them, you're sending them a powerful message. I trust you to rise to the challenge. You're capable of more than you realize, and I'm here to support your growth. Getting uncomfortable and stretching is a normal part of life. Now, at the same time, you're reclaiming your energy, focus, and time so you can guide from a place of strength rather than depleting. The core belief here is that boundaries aren't protective, they're empowering. They strengthen relationships, build trust, and create a ripple effect for growth. Here's the core belief here. Boundaries aren't just protective, they're empowering. They strengthen relationships, build trust, and create a ripple effect of growth. So let's look at the script for setting boundaries without letting them down. First, validate their reliance and show belief in them. Acknowledge that they've come to depend on you while affirming their potential to rise. I know that you're used to me being here for you for things like this, and I'm glad to help. But at the same time, I believe you're now ready to take this on yourself. Set the boundary with care and intention by framing the boundary as an opportunity for their growth, not a withdrawal of your support. This time, I need to step back so that you can take the lead. It's an important step for your evolution, and I trust you can handle it. Offer limited support to guide, but not to solve. Make it clear that you're available to assist without taking over. If you hit a roadblock, I'm here to brainstorm ideas or point you to resources, but the next steps are yours to take. Inspire confidence and self-belief by giving them encouragement that reinforces their capability and interdependence. I know you've got this, and I'm excited to see how you rise to the challenge. You're more ready than you realize. Now, once again, this may be challenging for you, and so I offer you some power statements to support you. I empower others by showing them what they're capable of. Boundaries are acts of trust that strengthen relationships and build independence. And by stepping back, I create space for growth for them and for me. And if you want to take an inspired action step around this boundary today, think of one person in your life, whether it's a child, a client, a team member, whom you've been stepping in for too much. Okay, use this script to set a boundary that empowers them while they're preserving your energy. Awesome. Okay, boundary number 6. What if they don't like it? How to navigate pushback when you set boundaries. Inevitably, we're going to get pushback because people are used to us behaving in certain ways, right? Now, the key insight here is you've taken the step to set a boundary with clarity, care, and the best intentions, but then it happens. They push back. Your partner questions why you need more space. Your friend makes you feel guilty for saying no. Your child insists that they can't do it on their own. And your team member or client reacts with frustration or resistance. Now, their reaction stirs something in you: fear, guilt, doubt. You start to wonder, did I do the right thing? Am I being selfish? What if this damages our relationship? Here's the truth. Pushback isn't a sign of failure, it's part of the process. When someone resists a boundary, it's because it challenges the status quo. They're being invited into growth, and that can feel uncomfortable. But discomfort is where the transformation begins. Your job isn't to avoid their pushback, it's to hold steady in the face of it, guiding them through their resistance with confidence and care. So here's your mindset shift. Resistance isn't rejection, it's a reaction to change. When others push back against your boundaries, it's often because they're being asked to grow in ways they may not feel ready for. By staying calm and grounded, you model what healthy relationships look like. You show that love and respect aren't tied to compliance. You teach them that discomfort is part of the learning and growth, and you honor yourself, reinforcing that your needs and values matter too. Okay, here's the core belief. Boundaries that face resistance are often the most transformative. Staying firm with compassion strengthens relationships, builds trust, and fosters growth for both parties. So, you ready for the script? Here's the script for navigating pushback in any relationship. First, pause and get centered. When someone reacts negatively to your boundary, take your brave thinking breaths and resist the urge to defend or retreat. Remember to remind yourself their reaction is about them, not about you. You want to acknowledge their feelings without giving in. Do this by showing empathy for their experience, but don't waver on your boundaries. I can see that this feels hard for you, and I understand why this change might feel uncomfortable. Then reaffirm your boundary with clarity by restating your boundary with confidence and explain why it matters for both of you. I set this boundary because I believe it's important for our relationship and for both of us to thrive. I trust that we can navigate this together. Offer support without compromising the boundary. Be a resource, but stay clear about who is responsible for what. I'm here to support you as you navigate this change in expectations and boundaries. Let's talk about how we can move forward in a way that sets us both up for success. And then finally, you want to hold space for growth. Give them time to process and trust the discomfort will do its work. I know this might feel like a big change and might bring up feelings for you, but I also know that you're capable of navigating it. I believe that we can move through this together and everyone can get what they need to succeed. Okay. And as always, you're going to want to stand in your power. So here are your power statements. Pushback is a sign that growth is happening. I can hold my boundaries with love even when others resist. Discomfort is not a threat, it's the path to transformation. Now, to take an inspired action step around this boundary, I want you to reflect on a recent moment of pushback. Think about a situation where someone resisted a boundary that you set. How did you respond? Did you hold firm or did you soften to avoid conflict? So today I want you to identify one relationship in which you anticipate pushback when setting a boundary and use this script to prepare yourself so you can approach the moment with confidence, clarity, and compassion. Okay. So how does this feel for you? I want you to remember that boundaries are not just personal, they're cultural acts of liberation. For too long, people, especially women, have been socialized to equate their worth with how much they give, to fear that prioritizing their needs will harm their relationships, and that taking on the weight of others' responsibilities, often at the expense of their own dreams, is okay. Okay? These deeply ingrained beliefs cost people, especially women, dearly. It costs health and well-being through chronic exhaustion, stress, and burnout. It costs higher purpose and creativity because there's little space to pursue their deepest aspirations. It costs financial prosperity, missed opportunities to grow careers or businesses. It costs visibility and impact, hesitation to step into leadership and fully express themselves. Now, why are boundaries foundational for transformation? Boundaries are not about saying no for the sake of it. They are creating the space for us to rise. When people cultivate boundaries, they free themselves from cycles of overfunctioning and depletion. They empower others to grow and thrive in their own right. They reclaim energy, focus, and clarity to pursue their higher purpose. Now, the goal is to move towards boundaries that strengthen relationships, amplify your potential, and transform lives. So hopefully, these practical tools, scripts, and mindset shifts that I've given you will help to do just that. So let's just really quickly look at the 6 boundaries that we've talked about today. The first one was, I feel guilty saying no. This is when someone asks for too much of your time. We often feel our worth is tied to our availability, making it difficult to decline requests. This script helps honor time without feeling guilt. Okay, so here's your mindset shift. Saying no doesn't diminish generosity, it strengthens it by ensuring that you can give from a place of alignment. I don't want to let anyone down. When you're asked to take on extra responsibility, this boundary becomes a place where we overcommit out of fear of appearing unreliable. Number 2 was, I don't want to let anyone down. This is a boundary when you're asked to take on extra responsibility, right? Many of us overcommit out of fear of appearing unreliable. But the script that I gave you will empower you to step back with trust and clarity. And the mindset shift is that you're not letting anyone down by stepping back, you're inviting them to grow. The third boundary was, I don't want to upset or reject anyone. This happens when you need to decline a social invitation, okay? Declining social invitations can trigger guilt, but this script helps say no with care, maintaining connection while honoring your well-being. The mindset shift is saying no to others is saying yes to your well-being. Number 4 was, I'm afraid they'll fail without me. This is when you feel responsible for other people's success. Many of us feel obligated to ensure other people's success, leading to overextension. But this script that I've given you today will help you trust others to rise. The mindset shift here is trusting others to grow as an act of leadership and love. 5th, they depend on me too much. How to set boundaries without letting them down. Overfunctioning can feel like a necessity, but the script that I taught you will help you to step back in a way that fosters independence and resilience in others. Remember your mindset shift. Stepping back with care strengthens trust and empowers growth. Okay. The last boundary was, what if they don't like it? How to navigate pushback when you set boundaries. Pushback is a natural response to change. The script that I gave you will help to hold boundaries with compassion and clarity. In your mindset shift, pushback isn't failure, it's part of the process of transformation. So, how do you feel about this? Are you going to be able to set some boundaries in your life? Did I give you too much information? I know it's pretty hard to follow some of those scripts as I was going through them. And so, as a special gift to you, if you send me a personal message, if you put your email in the chat, I will send you a copy of these scripts. Okay, I'll give you a printed copy so that you have them, you can practice with them, and you can use them to be impactful in your life. Awesome. Okay, has this brought up any ideas for you about what you would like to calibrate this week? Perhaps it's setting a boundary, whether it's at work or at home or with a friend. Where would you like to set a boundary? And which boundary are you setting? Okay. If it's not setting a boundary, that's fine. You probably have some impactful action step that would move you towards the direction of your dream. And my goal today is to help you take that action. It could be a 5-minute power move, but what I want you to do is right now, write it down. And once you've written it down, I want you to write next to it when you're going to do it. Is it something you can do in 5 minutes after this call? Or is it something that you need to schedule in your calendar? If so, put it in your calendar, because your calendar is the most important structure that you can use to make energy flow in your life. Great. Okay, so have you got it in your calendar? I encourage you to take this action step, okay? Inspiration without action is entertainment. Mary's quote just always resonates with me, right? Inspiration without action is merely entertainment. So don't entertain yourself this week. Take action and let's improve our relationships, our lives, and move towards our dreams. Thank you for joining me. This has been a fairly lengthy session, probably a little schloggy. I'm going to try and add some titles and things to this one for the first time. And of course, as I said, make sure you drop your email to me and I will send you a copy of these scripts that you can use. Beyond all, I just want you to know that you are living your miraculous dream life, and I'm here to help you with that. I'm Kristina Swanson. I am your certified dream builder coach, life mastery consultant, women-centered coach, and a few other things. And I am here to help you live the best life that you can. So here's to you. Thanks for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Take care.